You know, money has to be one of the most emotional subjects we ever talk about
Oh, for sure.
because it's not just about numbers in a bank account, is it?
Yeah.
It's so deeply tied to our identity, our values,
Mm,
and what we think we deserve.
exactly.
So many people spend their whole lives trying to get ahead financially, but it feels like they've subconsciously built this invisible wall right in front of them that they just can't seem to get past. Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we are doing a deep dive into this idea of limiting beliefs about money. We've got some really compelling source material on where these inherited stories come from.
Mm-hmm.
And more importantly, we have a really concrete example of how they can physically block a major opportunity.
Yeah.
We're going to look at a financial strategy that most people just run away from because of what they believe, not what they actually know.
That's absolutely right. And the core mission for you, the listener, today is really to understand the stories we inherited about money. I mean, think of them like old software running in the background of your brain.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, and it's subtly causing you to sabotage your own efforts. We found that until you can drag that unconscious story into the light, you really can't change your financial future in a meaningful way.
So let's start at the very beginning then. What exactly is a limiting belief in this context?
Well, it's a perception you hold about money or wealth that isn't really based in fact, but it actively restricts your ability to earn or to save or to invest. They really do become self-fulfilling prophecies.
Our sources listed a few that just felt so familiar. Things like, the idea that money is evil or that rich people are all greedy.
And that second one is so powerful, isn't it? It creates this moral trap.
How so?
Well, if you believe that, then pursuing wealth means you're risking becoming a bad person. But maybe the most damaging one is that quiet one, the one deep down.
Which is
The belief that you don't deserve to be wealthy or that you're just, not smart enough to handle anything complex with money. These aren't facts, they're just positions you've learned to adopt.
Okay, so that's the big question though. Where did these ideas even come from?
Overwhelmingly, they're learned really early in life. It's almost like emotional osmosis. I mean, think about the phrases you probably heard as a kid, spoken out of stress, not malice.
Like money doesn't grow on trees.
Exactly. Or just the constant, simple message of, we can't afford that. Those phrases, they're loaded with scarcity and anxiety, and they stick with you. They become these foundational truths long after the scarcity is even gone.
It's the constant repetition of the message that sort of builds the wall, isn't it?
Precisely. And then on top of what you hear at home, you have all the cultural and societal messages piled on. The idea that wanting money is selfish or that you have to sacrifice your values to get it. And that creates this immediate, intense internal conflict. It shows up as fear or maybe guilt anytime a real opportunity comes along. It's the perfect recipe for self-sabotage.
What's fascinating here is just how stubbornly these messages stick, even when we're high-functioning, educated adults. They become the unwritten rules of our financial world, stopping us from even considering certain paths because we've learned to associate financial freedom with danger or being a bad person.
Okay, so once you realize these emotional walls are there, you need a way to take them down. The first step, according to our research, is just identification. And this is the hard part, right? The honest self-reflection.
It can be really uncomfortable. You have to actually sit with the feelings money brings up for you. Is it panic, guilt? Is it that feeling of not being worthy when you think about investing?
So what do you do?
The sources say to literally write down the messages you heard growing up, the ones that still give you that knot in your stomach. You have to bring those hidden beliefs out into the open so you can finally deal with them.
And once you've named them, what's step two? You have to question their validity. This is the critical thinking part. You look that belief right in the eye and you ask, is this really true? And even more importantly, is this belief helping me right now or is it holding me back?
Can you give us an example?
Sure. Let's take that big one. Money is evil. You have to reframe it. The research puts this perfectly. Money is neutral. It's just a tool.
Like a hammer.
Exactly like a hammer. You can build a house with it or you can hurt someone.
Yeah.
It's all about how the person uses the tool. That reframing separates the currency from the character of the person holding it.
But let me push back on that for a second, because I think a lot of people have this genuine fear that if they get wealthy, they will change. They'll become that greedy person they've always disliked.
That is a powerful point. And the research suggests that fear is often just. It's a misplaced attempt to protect yourself. It's not really that money will corrupt you. It's the fear of becoming someone your family or friends might reject.
So the reframe isn't about pretending there are no greedy rich people.
Not at all. It's about creating an empowering story for yourself. You get to decide that your success will be a force multiplier for your existing value.
A force multiplier. I like that.
Yeah. It means you can care for your family better, invest in your community, support causes you believe in. It empowers generosity, not selfishness.
Okay, so that leads us right into the third step then, which is consciously replacing the limiting beliefs with empowering ones. You have to record over that old internal tape.
Exactly right. So if your old tape says, I'll never be good with money, the new one has to be, I'm actively learning how to manage my finances. You see the shift from a permanent state, never, to a process learning. It's psychologically huge. Or instead of money is the root of all evil, the new mantra is money is a tool that can create security and positive change. Now, and this is critical, it's not going to feel natural at
All right, your
first.
brain is probably going to argue with you.
No, it will. But repetition and time are everything. You are literally forging new neural pathways. It takes real commitment to make those healthier thoughts stick and become your new default.
And that repetition is so vital because these beliefs don't just mess with our feelings, right? They cost us actual money. There's a real price tag on this fear.
A massive price tag. I mean, it's often the difference between stagnation and real growth. People will just opt out of amazing financial strategies, not because they can't afford it or aren't smart enough, but just because they're terrified of what they think the risk is.
We found this incredible anecdote from a financial expert who admitted they almost missed out on a fantastic income strategy because of one of these beliefs. The strategy is called the Poor Man's Covered Call, or PMCC. And for years, this expert was just paralyzed by the belief that, and I'm quoting here, options are too complex and too dangerous. Only financial geniuses and Wall Street wolves should touch them.
And that myth just sits in your head and blocks you from even looking into it.
Completely. Blocked a lucrative, consistent income stream for years.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it shows something huge. Most people aren't limited by their capital. They're limited by the stories they've inherited about capital, especially stories about risk.
That belief that options are just gambling.
Right. It's a perfect example of financial anxiety dressing up as smart, conservative judgment. It stops you from even investigating strategies that are literally designed to minimize risk.
So to show what this expert was missing, we should probably break down this PMCC strategy. The analogy the source used makes it so much less intimidating.
It's a great analogy.
So it's an option strategy that lets you sort of mimic owning 100 shares of a big, stable stock like a classic Warren Buffett pick, but you don't need all the money to buy the shares outright.
Okay, let's walk through the analogy because it's brilliant. Imagine you want to be a landlord and collect rent, but you don't have, say, 300 grand to buy a rental property.
Right, most of us don't.
So instead, you buy a super long-dated call option. It's called a LEP, and that LEP, that's your synthetic house.
So the LEP is way cheaper than buying the actual house or the 100 shares of stock, but it acts as your foundation. It's like your pseudo-ownership.
Precisely. Now, once you own this synthetic house, you start selling short-term call options against it. And this is the clever part.
This is you renting it out.
This is you renting it out. You collect rent in the form of options premium, and you can do it every week or every couple of weeks.
And the appeal is just,
Yeah.
it's so clear with that analogy. You're getting this consistent income stream, but with zero leaky roofs, zero screaming tenants.
And as the source Riley put it, minimal maintenance issues, like maybe a slow Wi-Fi connection. The income is real, and you didn't have to be a Wall Street genius to set it up.
The core benefit is the leverage then.
That's it. You're using a tiny fraction of the capital, but you're generating income on it like you owned the whole thing, all because you use that LEP to synthetically mimic ownership.
Okay, but what about risk? That was the expert's big fear. What happens when the market goes sideways? When the clog happens, as they said.
Right. And this is the part that was invisible to them because of their belief. The PMCC actually has risk management baked right in. You can be your own plumber.
Oh.
The source mentions rolling the short call out or up. That's jargon, so let's just translate it.
Please.
Rolling a call just means you close your current short-term contract that might be getting into trouble, and you immediately open a new one with a later expiration date or a higher price.
So it's like giving yourself more time.
Exactly. It's like your tenant, the short call, is becoming a problem. Rolling it is like offering them a slightly different lease agreement further down the road. It's a way to proactively adjust the trade, give the market time to calm down, and avoid a big loss. That level of control was totally hidden from the expert until they got past that one limiting belief.
That story just, it really underscores that building wealth isn't just about luck. It's about having access to knowledge and, maybe more importantly, having a mindset that lets you act on it.
It absolutely is. And kicking out that fear is a great start. But to sustain that shift, you have to do the ongoing work.
So what does that look like?
Well, the first big strategy is to just commit to educating yourself about money. A lot of the anxiety people feel isn't really about money, it's about a lack of understanding. When you learn the basics, budgeting, investing, you build confidence, you build a sense of control.
The more you know, the less scary it seems.
Exactly. Knowledge literally pushes those old myths out the door. It's a lot harder for that old, I'm not smart enough thought to creep back in when you actually understand how a Roth IRA works.
Okay, the second strategy our sources mentioned involves your environment. And this one can be really tough. It's to surround yourself with positive influences.
It's so important. If you're always around people who complain about money or who just reinforce all those negative beliefs that it's always scarce, that success is somehow immoral, it is incredibly hard to maintain a new mindset.
You don't have to, dump your friends,
Yeah.
but you do have to actively seek out people who talk about money in a healthy, productive way.
And that's where patience and persistence are just non-negotiable. Overcoming these deep beliefs doesn't happen in a weekend. It's a long-term process.
There will be setbacks.
For sure. There will be moments when the old guilt or the old anxiety creeps back in. That's totally normal. The key is to notice it, challenge it, and just keep replacing it with the healthier thought.
To help with that, the research also suggested something practical. Daily visualization.
Yes.
Just spending a few minutes each day imagining what your life would look like without these limits. Feeling confident, less stressed, maybe more generous. That act of visualizing kind of primes your brain for the reality you're trying to build.
And finally, and we have to stress this, it's so important to seek professional support if you need it. If your beliefs about money are tied to real trauma or deep emotional struggles, there is zero shame in talking to a therapist or a financial coach.
It's a sign of strength, not weakness.
It's a sign of strength. It's a commitment to your own financial health and healing. So at the end of the day, I think the main conclusion from all this is it's actually pretty simple. Your beliefs about money, they're just beliefs. They are not unchangeable facts, and they definitely do not define your future.
Right.
This isn't about getting obsessed with being rich. It's about finding balance and just using money as the tool it is to build the life you actually want.
So what does this all mean? It means that the very first step to paying off your debt, or saving for that big goal, or even tackling a strategy that sounds complex like the PMCC, it's just believing it's possible for you.
Once you give yourself permission to believe that, it's amazing what opportunities you suddenly start to see. And as you reflect on this deep dive, here's a provocative thought I want you to mull over. If the story you inherited about money is the single biggest obstacle to your next income stream, what specific evidence in your life today, right now, proves that inherited story is completely wrong? Challenge yourself to find that evidence, because finding that proof is the fastest way to start writing your own story.